Namaste Krishna Rao garu. Welcome to IYR Talks English edition. Now, State of Andhra Pradesh is in a very peculiar situation because today the Minister of Steel he has visited the Vizag steel plant to have a first-hand information about what's all happening and what is the thing and all that. And everybody is looking with optimism that Vizag steel plant is going to continue in the same management and optimistic about further expansions and all, because this is a promise. Telugu government also wanted that not to be given to the private parties. But of course, a statement has come in Financial Express that it may be given to a private party, and Telugu consented that, and on that the TDP people, followers, they have attacked Deccan Chronicle and these things. But the minister's statement says that it will continue and production will be there, and then he said he will also talk to Modi about that. But what is going to be sum and substance still is not clear. What do you think? Because this we have seen as when we are studying our like 6th class or 7th class way back in 1967-68, Amrut Rao from Vizag, he held indefinite fast as Vizag Steel, Andhra's right, as a Visakha Steel, Andhra Hakku and Jeppesi. So from that time onwards, now it's almost 37 plus about 60 years it's past, and now still it is a problem because of the loss-making institution. What do you think is going to be the future of Vizag steel plant? What could be the strategy that should be evolved by the present NDA government in trying to support its activities?
I think the whole issue of Vizag steel plant and the controversy around it today is it's only BJP which is responsible for it, and its indecision. It was in power for last decade with full majority. They were not dependent on any regional party for a support. If they had an industrial policy which envisaged privatization of Vizag steel plant, this was quite a long time for them to have taken a decision and implemented it. If they have implemented the decision and privatized it, there would have been no murmur. I mean, after all, there would have been some agitation just before the privatization, and that's the end of it. But the way they have prolonged the decision, but every time stating that we want to privatize but not privatizing, has unnecessarily made this an issue and cost the party also politically, which they are not able to realize, because there is a feeling that all other parties in Andhra are trying to protect it and only BJP is trying to sell it. This type of a message has gone into the people. But let's look at the issue as such. As you told, it's 67, there was this Amrut Rao's agitation. And of course, if I can remember, like you school days, there were two agitations which were very, very prominent. One was this Vizag steel plant agitation, which came right up to the small villages, because I was in small village, Kondepi. That high school also we boycotted the classes, went to the roads, took out the air from the RTC bus to ensure that it doesn't go. That's a way of showing the protest. So, then of course the other one was the Hindi agitation. Both these were quite widespread in the state. And in fact, Vizag steel plant, there was firing also, people died. People died in places like Nalgonda, it was a United States, asking for that. So, okay, that's one phase. But when the decision to give Vizag steel plant came, that was independent of this agitation. That came, I think, somewhere in 1970-71, announced by Mrs. Gandhi. But even then, it took almost all 2 decades to get operationalized. It was inaugurated, it was announced in 70, work started in 80, inaugurated in 90 by Prime Minister, in 90s by Prime Minister Nalgonda Rao. After it was inaugurated, for some time it was in red, for some time it was making profit. It could have got captive mines in those days if they tried for it. Nobody tried. I don't know what was the reason. It couldn't get captive mines. And now it's in red. It's a sick industry. There's no doubt about that. It's not making profits. It may be making profit on a yearly basis, but it has a lot of cumulative losses. So how do we go about it? 2 things is, in the present day world, somewhere I read, to be a economically viable unit, steel plant should be size of about 20 million tons. This is about 7-8 million tons. So unless you put in a lot of additional investment and increase the capacity to 20 million tons, it's not going to be profitable in the long run. If you just leave it like that, it will get closed in a few years because it cannot add its expenses. So that's the situation where it is. Point is, it's a technical issue and it should be purely looked on based on technical merits and demerits. What is the best alternative? Whether merging it in sale is a good option, putting additional investment and then making it profitable is a good option, or privatizing it with conditions that the incoming company should invest to take up the production capacity to 20 million tons. No employee should be discharged. Their emolument should be protected. Land should not be clubbed with this, but should be separately handled by the government. With these conditions, if it can be privatized, it's a good option also. But without doing anything, just saying we'll privatize and then keep on floating that thing for years together, is neither here nor there, and leaving it a lot of problems. People getting agitated that government wants to privatize it and we want to support it, the local regional party. So it's a very, very tricky situation that BJP itself got into. Today, BJP is dependent on a regional local party of Andhra Pradesh for its survival in Delhi. And this local regional party may not be willing to take a stand against, in favor of, may not be willing to take a stand in favor of privatization of the steel plant. So I think in all probability, BJP government, NDA government will get stuck there and may not be in a position to privatize it, though whatever is coming up in the news. But finally, since local party interests are more important, so they may not be willing to support it. So I think it will continue like this for some more time. Whether government of India will be interested in infusing some more investment to make it more viable, one has to see. If not, will they merge it with sale? But privatization today, yes, it was a definite possibility 5 years back if they fast-tracked it and got it done, and there would have been no consequences. Subsequently, nobody would have raised it as an issue. But having kept it as a pending issue for a decade, now when they don't have full majority in Delhi, I don't think they would be in a position to privatize it today.
So let's wait and see the outcome of today's visit and the government's policy of supporting the steel plant. Thank you.